asking you. You wake up early in the morning, you get yourself dead. How can you feel? You wake early up in the morning, you get yourself, you are dead. How can you feel?
If that becomes a problem, Navy will join the force. But for now, Navy is not part of it. It's Army, Air Force, the modern security agency, which is the Nigeria Police Force, the DSS, and the the one we call the civil defense. That's the six that constitute Operation Udogachi. It then means that any Operation Udogachi unit you see anywhere in Anambra State, the full complements would mean these agencies, these security agencies that I've mentioned. Now, I just wanted to give an overview for us to know that indeed we are serious. We mean it. We are pushing this. This is an operation or security intervention that cannot afford to fail. There is no, if it fails, then these criminals, these hoodlums that are already on the run will return to Anambra with vengeance, and we will not allow that to happen. Let me just touch one or two things so that I can yield the space for those who would want to ask questions. You see, our security architecture is comprehensive. I want to believe that if fully understood and fully in flight and delivering at optimum, I'm not sure that anybody who wants to do technical review would count more than 3 to 5 of such interventions in Nigeria without calling Anambra State present security architecture. It's one of the best now, and I'll tell you why. It's comprehensive. I've talked about more boots on the ground. Beyond the boots, technology is now in place. We now have command and control center in a place I wouldn't want to mention on air. That command and control center, driven by artificial intelligence, is such that Anambra, the 21 local government areas in Anambra, are now wired, connected, using CCTV cameras and walkie-talkie and other means of communications to make them one. It means that Anambra, all parts of Anambra, are now being watched from one control room. Any security breach, intervention, criminality in any form of Anambra State can trigger an alarm. And that alarm that is monitored from the command and control center would mean that we are in a position to now activate the closest Operation Udogachi unit to intervene. In fact, one of the features of our current security architecture is that we have Operation Udogachi in units. It's not just in one place. No. In fact, you have Operation Udogachi units in not only 20 local government areas in Anambra State, but also in some areas beyond the local government that are considered as flashpoints, bad spots that needed closer monitoring and watch, so that if things continue the way they are, we'll be able to move in quickly. That is one level of it. We now have a call center. The call center works for 24 hours, 247. You can call the number 5111. That is 5111. You call the number. We say here in Anambra, see something, say something. And even now, we have gone beyond see something and say something. We now say, see something, say something, and something. Because we have introduced whistle blowing policy into it. So people can give us intelligence. And if the intelligence they give us helps to crack a serious security or insecurity challenge, like busting a gang, an armed robbery gang, a cultism gang, a kidnap gang, or what you call the camps you have in the forests and bushes. Once we get that and process it and it turns out to be true, you can earn as much as 5 million naira. Well, somebody can say we are bribing for information. We don't care anymore. Ndị Igbo na-asị na anụ gbaa ajọ ọsọ, agba ya ajọ egbe. Yes, we are bribing for information. We need to recover Anambra fully. We don't want the insecurity to continue because we want to be sure that Anambra returns to the status that he once enjoyed about 5 years ago, or a little before 5 years ago. Anambra was peer-reviewed as the safest state in Nigeria, safest. Now we lost it before before Soludo became governor. You recall that a month to the gubernatorial election that saw Soludo assume power as the governor of Anambra State, he was attacked when and where he went to address the youth just before his election, and the 3 policemen with him were killed. There are many incidences to show that indeed we had serious insecurity in Anambra State. It is on record that 8 local government areas in Anambra State were no-go areas before Soludo became governor. Today, at least, we can say that perhaps it's only Ihiala and a part of Orumba that is security challenged seriously before the launching of Operation Udogachi. What that means is that Soludo has been able to recover at least 6 local governments and it made serious incursion in the recovery of Orumba, and of course, even in Ihiala. We cannot say that Ihiala is totally in their hands, even though before the launch of Operation Udogachi, that Ihiala was really a headache because the criminals operate between Anambra and Imo. You hit them in Anambra, they run into Imo. If you turn your back, they return to Anambra. Why Anambra? They are coming to Anambra because this is where the money is. We need to understand why the criminals are interested in Anambra. They know that Anambra is obviously the richest state in the southeast. That's a fact. And then in the entire southern Nigeria, if you remove Lagos, Anambra comes second. The records are there. So the criminals are following the money. The comprehensive security intervention will clean up all this and restore Anambra State. Let me add also that Anambra has now, as we speak, he has been tested and is effective. He has been deployed. The best, but for modesty, let me say one of the best tracking systems now in Nigeria. You cannot do anything with electronics such as phones in Anambra now and get away with it. Before you join another local government from the point of that bridge, we'll pick you up. That's the kind of tracking system we have now, because it has pinpoint capacity to deliver to the phone itself. You know, the normal tracking systems you have around us here is something that can, through GPS, give you an idea of an area. We're not talking about an area now. We can trace you to the car itself, to the room where the phone was last used or still in use, if it is still active. That is what distinguishes ours from what you find around us. So ndị Anambra, they need to cooperate, pray with government, work with the government, see something, say something, end something. I can go on and on and on. We have started registering results. You need to see the videos of what happened in a place like Osumohu today and yesterday. I will share the videos with Ikenga, so he can share with whomever he wants to share with. We are not joking here. We are not playing here. We will retrieve all the security challenged places in Anambra. We will restore Anambra totally and fully, so that Soludo's sterling achievements will come away shining brighter in the full view of the people. Because people may be saying that he's doing so much in infrastructure, in education, in health, digital infrastructure, and everything, that security has not been given sufficient attention. That was before the launch of Operation Udogachi and the release of Agune Chamber. Help is here. Thank you for the opportunity to share with you. I'm here for another 30 minutes to take questions, even longer if need be.
Thank you, sir. The host, I changed the title. I hope it's okay with you. I couldn't fit in the ask your questions, so anybody that is here that wants to ask questions, you be able to do that. But now, over to
It's
you, the
okay.
host.
It's okay. Okay. Now, I want to ask His Excellency, the Commissioner for Information, Dr. Mefor. Some of your opposition, I don't know, His Excellency, if you can put your phone on mute and you mute your mic. Thank you. Thank you very much. Some of your oppositions may argue that Soludo, who is the governor and the chief security of Anambra State, decided not to fight security for over 3 years in office. That the reason is because he's waiting for second term in office. My question to you is, how truth is this allegation on governor of Anambra State?
Yeah, you see, everything is not politics. Everything is not politics. The first thing that Soludo gave attention when he was sworn in as a governor of Anambra State was security. He created the superstructure by creating the Ministry of Home Affairs. Ministry of Home Affairs is about internal affairs of a state or a country. It's about security. That's the superstructure. He created it. It never existed in Anambra before he came. The Ministry of Home Affairs, Anambra State, was created by Soludo, not by any other government. And it is about security, internal affairs of Anambra State. That's one level. Soludo created the first strike force made up of about 250 well-trained and well-armed security operatives. That was the first Anambra vigilante group, the very first. He created it, and that was how he was able to retrieve. I told you that before he came in, that 8 local government areas were no-go zones in Anambra State. If you recall, when his election took place, there were many places where elections couldn't hold. It's because of insecurity. In fact, gubernatorial election was postponed in many places, and even at the new dates that the elections were supposed to hold, they still couldn't hold in many of those places because of insecurity. But he has been able, all the while, he was able to retrieve nothing less than 6 of the 8 security challenged the local government areas fully, with challenges still very noticeable in Ihiala because of the reason I gave you earlier, the incursions from Imo State and some parts of Orumba that also share boundaries with Imo State and Ihiala. Now, we now say that he is now taking security seriously because of election. I have told you the current security architecture of Anambra State. I talked about the construction of a command and control center. I talked about the wiring of Anambra State to connect the 21 local government areas to a control center through CCTV and everything. I talked about the construction of a call center where you can now call 5111 or 112. There is a third number even, which I can't give, of course. I'll give you to share with our friends here. I'll send the numbers. Now, we procured 200 trucks and special purpose security vehicles and branded them. All branded the vehicles. You will see the Operation Udogachi trucks kitted as a conventional police vehicle, counters, or is it counters, something like that, built where there can be protection from elements of the weather and seats and everything. What am I trying to say? The point I'm trying to make is that for you to procure all these things will take a bit of time. In fact, it took months. So those who think that the security intervention came on only January 2025, the people haven't even considered all these things I've talked about. You don't pick 200 trucks from one shop overnight and brand them the following day. These things take time. You don't construct command and control center overnight, call center overnight. You don't acquire and install tracking systems overnight. These things take time. To train 2,000 personnel for the Operation Odogachi Security Strike Force didn't happen in January. It couldn't have happened in 1 month. So when people talk, they need to pay a bit of attention to some details. And that is why education is important. You know, the people you call opposition in Anambra State, I just pity them because they seem not to even understand what politics of issues is all about. If they really want to confront Soludo, what they are doing, they are playing to the gallery. Yeah, because they are not facing the realities. We will, when they bring this up, right, we will confront them with the details of what it takes to set up each of these components. And they can find out from any other state in Nigeria that has ventured through this path. And they will get the details of how long it took them to put in place their own security architecture, which may not even be as comprehensive as that of Anambra State. We are waiting for them. If they are really serious about going into this election, they should wake up and smell the coffee. Soludo is not your everyday politician. Soludo has been peer reviewed. Soludo and his solution government have won awards internationally and nationally. Let me tell us, it's not a matter of Anambra politics. The latest award that Soludo won, or the solution government won, is in health sector, primary health care delivery in Nigeria. Anambra State came first in the entire Southeast. Anambra State came first in the entire Nigeria. For God's sake, let us acknowledge some of these things now. So when somebody says Soludo is doing nothing, so those who are giving these awards are giving the awards for doing nothing. Is it what we are saying, or we are just being, I don't want to use foul language here, right? You know, I just mentioned one award, and the award even attracted some money, because for coming first in the Southeast, Anambra State won $500,000. For coming first in Nigeria, Anambra State won $700,000. If you add the two, that is $1.2 million. If you convert it to Naira, we are talking about billions here. And we're talking about the entire country, 36 states in Nigeria plus FCT. Your state won, came first in the Southeast, came first in Nigeria, and yet you cannot admit that the governor is doing something. You will go to TV and radio, newspapers, and say the governor is doing nothing. The economy has not improved. How? What do you mean? If you say that the economy has not improved, what is economy? Maybe some of us who are social scientists don't understand what the economy is anymore. Or that Soludo, who is an economist, doesn't know what the economy is anymore. Soludo, that was the head of Nigeria's monetary policy for 5 years as the governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, doesn't know what the economy means. I don't get all. I just don't understand us. That's why I said opposition, they are simply not serious. They want to just hit up the polity and all that. But the Anambra know that Soludo has performed fantastically well. Let me mention a few of is interventions in the area of economy, infrastructure, and everything. Roads. Soludo has awarded about 700 kilometers of roads in 30 months. And 400 of those roads are already asphalted and they use. Many of these roads are even federal roads. But because they are in Anambra, you have to construct those roads. I will send you videos here if you have not seen videos. This is road. Soludo has constructed 5 general hospitals, transformed Onitsha. Go to a place like Oboko and Fege and see transformation. Something nobody would believe ever happened. Come to Oka and see Oka. Oka is an emerging city. An emerging city. Go to places like the Solution Fund City. Go to the reconstructed city, Oka City Stadium. Anambra's creation in 1991 does not have a state house. We now have a brand new state house, brand new state house, brand new governor's lodge. It's a whole city on its own. The new governor's lodge is a complete city. You know, I can go on and on. Have you seen what Soludo has done with the Solution Innovation District? Soludo has been able to train over 25,000 Anambra youths in digital skills, making them useful in Anambra and employable abroad. Digital skills. If you want to understand the value of what Soludo has done in that area, go to a place like Lagos and try to enroll to acquire the kind of digital skill that we are introducing our youth to in Anambra State. You will pay between 3 to 4 million. And you know how much Soludo is charging in Anambra State? Nothing. Free. Just make yourself available. 25,000. Have you heard of one youth, 2 skills? One youth, 2 skills is a program. It's a scheme by the Soludo administration. And the skills being taught in this process is up to 40, ranging from agro industry to ICT. People who graduate get starter packs, get funds, get mentorship, and many of them today are employers of labor. Over 10,000 youths have benefited from this. And somebody is talking about economy. What is economy? Is free education not economy? Is it not part of economy? Do you know what free education does in what we call generational poverty transfer? Now you have to go to school free in Anambra State. Free. From kindergarten to secondary, senior secondary, free of charge. You don't need to pay a penny to go to school in Anambra. Do you know what that means to the economy of the poor in Anambra State? The last time Anambra experienced free education maybe during the time of Obabiaseka in maybe around 1973. Soludo brought it back, and people say that he's doing nothing. Free education is a direct intervention in generational poverty transfer. A poor widow can now grow her own family, grow her own children. Have you heard about, things like free antenatal, free delivery? Do you know women deliver in Anambra now free of charge? Even by cesarean operation, free. Do you know the implication of that free delivery to the poor, to the weak, the people who cannot afford it? Maybe those of us who are elites may not see it as anything, but it means so much to the poor woman, to the poor husband who cannot pay for a cesarean operation because the wife could not deliver through normal process. A cesarean operation anywhere cannot be less than 200,000 naira. 200,000 naira can lead to maternal deaths because where the husband cannot afford the money for CS, the next thing is to compel the woman to go through the normal birth process. And many of them have died in the process. Soludo says it is free. As of December 2024, 82,000 women in Anambra have access to these services. And people are talking about the economy. Those who say they understand the economy better than Soludo, do they know now that there is an interest, that there is a collateral free loan in Anambra State up to 10 million naira for recapitalization of a business? What else is economy? You can go and take 10 million naira without collateral to recapitalize your business. Has that happened before in Anambra State? I don't understand our people. Has that ever happened in Anambra State? To recapitalize, you pick, you don't, because the bank will tell you to bring your grandmother's birth and death certificate, bring landed property certificates and all that. Soludo government says bring nothing like that. Come for this money. All the government requires is bring somebody that can vouch to the government that he or she knows you. I want to know what is economy. I really want to be taught. I hold a PhD in social psychology. But I just want to be taught. I want to understand what the economy is. If not what Soludo is doing. I am interested. In fact, I'm a good learner. I want to learn. Do you know the cost of treating malaria in pregnancy? Do you know these women who go for free antenatal, free delivery, are giving drugs free? If we are really going to, they are giving free drugs. Do we know all these things? And people will come to national television and say that Soludo is doing nothing. What is something? I want to understand it. What exactly is something? You know, I don't want to get emotional over some of these things. But have you seen what Soludo has done in agriculture? Free fertilizer, free seedlings, free. In fact, have we even seen what Soludo has done with what we call AMIC, the mixed industrial use city, what you call industrial park? Contract for the boulevard has been awarded. Government has earmarked an area, making a light, road and water available in this area so that people can take parcels of land and bring in any kind of industry that they want to bring into Anambra State. When we had the last investment and industrial summit, many MOUs were signed, and many of these people have moved to site in Anambra State. We'll be there wasting our time listening to people who have no forwarding address. Their business is politics. They want to take over Anambra government house to share the money. Soludo refused. That is why he is not popular with the political elites. Do you know Soludo is doing all these things without borrowing a penny? People are telling me about the economy. What is economy? Do you know what it means to run a state at the level that Soludo has done without? In the last 33 to 34 months, he has not borrowed a penny. Doing so much with so little. And somebody says there is no economy. What is economy? I want to understand it. He is doing all these things without borrowing. I am not saying that borrowing is wrong or bad. No, but Soludo at least has not borrowed. And he must be given credit for that. Somebody says he understands the economy more than even Ricardo and Keynes and others. He understands all that. Now, I want to round up, please, just the last statement I want to make now. Say, Soludo's economic prudence has been peer reviewed. Soludo came first in Nigeria in fiscal discipline. Number one, the Anambra must know the kind of governor they have and make use of him. People like him don't come all the time. I'm not saying this because I speak for the government. I'm not saying this because I am the commissioner for information in Anambra State. No, I've always and often said this even before I joined the government. You can roll my tapes. Do you know how Soludo got the money that he's using to develop Anambra State? I want to tell you, I know where he got the money, and that will be the last thing I want to say, unless more questions are asked. Soludo reversed the capital recurrent parity before Soludo came in. Since 1999, even before then and beyond then, all the governments in Anambra State, have always run recurrent expenditure of nothing less than 60%. 60 capital, maybe 30%, 30-something percent to 40%. When Soludo came in, Soludo reversed that parity. Soludo has been running capital 70% and recurrent 30%. In fact, the current budget is capital 77% and recurrent 23%. If you simplistically look at the recurrent as Egwelieli and capital as Egweji, low infrastructure, social amenities, and things like that, you can understand why Soludo is winning and Anambra is rising. Why Soludo and Solution Government is winning and Anambra is rising. Ụmụnna, ọ dụkwa ka ya ara m etu a. Enwere more questions, I am still here. Daalụnụ.
Thank you, sir. Can you mute your mic, please? Okay. As the Commissioner for Information, I know you have a lot to say, but based on the time that you gave us, I think it would be better if we can give anyone that wants to ask a question 3 minutes, and then you can take 5 minutes to answer them so that we can accommodate everyone, if that's okay with you, sir.
It's okay, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, let me go to Michael. Michael, go ahead and ask your question. You have 3 minutes. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, Beauty. My Honorable, I have just a couple of questions to ask you, but the much question I have, they are related to the security situation and approach. I appreciate the work done within the last few months so far, and we hope that it intensify and be sustained throughout the stay of the governor and the subsequent government that is coming in. We want a peaceful Anambra State and Igbo in general. Okay, I'll start. We have a couple of discussions in the platforms concerning this particular issue of insecurity in the Southeast and Igbo in general, in Anambra in particular, because it used to be very, 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 very ugly in Anambra State. Very ugly in Anambra State. I will start from the lighter notes of asking the current government what approach, because we discussed a lot about the carrot approach. What approach? Is there any room for the people that we know, we are Anambrans, we know constitute 80% of the insecurity going on in Anambra State, the so-called agitators, quote unquote IPOB. What carrot approach have the government of Soludo given to these individuals? Is there a room for them to lay down their arms, lay down whatever agitation they are going for, and give themselves up for amnesty? That is number one question. And secondly, concerning about the recent development in the security operation in Anambra State, using the technology that is available, some of them we've mentioned for us, we that have been following the ongoing Anambra State, suppose that you have more information than we do. And we would like to know what other tech approach are you people using to ensure that the sponsors and enablers of this criminality and terrorism going on in Anambra State as of today are being pinned, because actually the guys carrying the guns are being financed and enabled by the ones seen and unseen, but we know they exist. What current technology means are you using to pin these guys? Some of them living abroad, using banks in Nigeria to finance these guys, money moving from hand to hand. And some of them on the internet sharing the videos of the atrocities they've done. Is the government doing anything to pin these guys? Because they are the people giving the most needed tactical support to the killers that we have on ground. Then, in line with that, what coordination?
Mr. Michael, sorry to interrupt you. Can you just ask him one question at a time so that he can take 5 minutes to answer each one of your questions? I'll give you time.
To round it up, I just want to know what approach they have for people that wants to give up this agitation. Secondly, what are they doing to pin the enablers? Thirdly, the coordination they have between the neighboring states. Are there coordination between the states? Not that they hit in Anambra, they go to rest in other states and come back to Anambra, which he himself has acknowledged that is viable for them to perpetrate this crime. I think I'm done for now. And again, finally, with all this that is being done, why is the major market? Why is the major market in Anambra not yet fully functional during Mondays? That's all I have for him. Thank you.
Yeah, let me quickly thank you for those beautiful questions. See, first and foremost, Iman, when you talk about IPOB, ESN, is ever named ideological. And dealing with ideology is not a small problem. Because ideology has to do with, more mad, if a mother believe on there, and you need a lot of education, a lot of persuasion to be able to change them. In fact, Soludo is very sympathetic about some of these things. He is. People should not see Soludo as against the agitation for Biafra. No. He's not against agitation for Biafra. What he's against is bringing violence and law, criminality, and all those things into it. And I also believe that is the concern of most of us. We're all Biafrans now. But bringing armed struggle into this is a problem. But that is exactly what has brought us to where we are. Bringing armed struggle into it. We can't survive it. Now, Imanabia Bida signal the Fulani Kewan. Yes, when the Fulani. Mana, my dear, I am Commissioner for Information, and they give me information. 70% of Ndai arrest to go Monday, one, all those things, 70% of them are not from Anambra. And the Fulani not there, maybe just a handful. So the Fulani have our problem. That's the point I'm making. Even in the name of Igbo. ụmụnne they these things. So now I busisi onwe anyị ebe enweta Biafra. Enweta Biafra ka ezi ndị aza Biafra nwa. Let me tell us, Soludo was the first Igbo leader in 2017 during Kuje prison for Nnamdi Kanu. And after that, some Ojere alone. I was there because I was the one that arranged the movement and everything. It's Unwega Kuje prison. Soludo led us. We came out, Jenna Chelsea Hotel. We organized a world press conference where we demanded, Soludo addressed the press conference. We demanded for unconditional release of Nnamdi Kanu. Ubidozie from there, up to that first one. Nke ejidekwa Nnamdi Kanu again. Soludo is the only Southeast leader and governor general. The only Southeast governor general DSS, Jeff Nnamdi Kanu. And when Soludo got there, he said, look, give me Nnamdi Kanu on administrative bail. Give me Nnamdi Kanu on administrative bail. I will keep him with me. Anytime you need Nnamdi Kanu, I will produce him. If I have a commitment, call me. And I'm aware that he's still working behind the scene for the release of Nnamdi Kanu. Despite all this, I can make Biafra agitation. Na eweluzie Nnamdi Kanu when any excuse for a Monday sit at home. And this enforcement. Nnamdi Kanu himself said that I don't want this, it's not helping matters. And yet, a section of IPOB led by Simon Eba have been pushing it, and people have died. Now, to your question, Soludo said, look, there is amnesty. Come out. Get rehabilitated. You'll be given a skill, given money to start a new life. There is an amnesty as we speak. That amnesty will end 28th of this February. Soludo declared amnesty. You also asked, I don't know if I took care of your basic questions. And there was the last you asked, I can't remember now. You asked about 4 questions, and I think I've tackled only 2 or 3. If you can remind me, that would be nice.
So I asked about why is the main markets on the channel, that of Nnewi, are still closed on Mondays. And then the other one, the coordination between states, the cooperation between states, neighboring states.
You see, the big markets are closed because of fear. That's the simple truth. Because of fear. Nobody wants his businesses to be destroyed or even die because he opened his shop. That's what the whole thing is all about. It's about fear. And that is the problem with terrorism. Terrorism rides on fear of the people. It's about fear. That's why the markets are closed. But it's easing out because sit at home is no longer total. Even in Onitsha and Nnewi. In a place like Oka, you don't even have sit at home at all on Mondays. But we must admit that sit at home is still on to a significant extent in many parts of Anambra State and the Southeast. You asked about coordination. Well, my brother, I believe that the Southeast states must work together. Mgbe ekwu na enwe Ebubeagụ as a Southeast regional force. That was after Amotekun was formed in Western Nigeria. But governors of the Southeast of that time played politics with it. Yes, they did. The current governors, they met again, they talked about, they said, oh, Anyora. I think that is what they call that regional force again. Yes, I agree with you. That Anyora, this is the time for it. Now, I think there is a bit of cooperation because I saw some actions. Neighbor Nabo, Awo Idemili. Awo Idemili is bordering, is very close to Anambra State, but it is Imo State. And then there's some action there. And I don't think that the action was launched by Agune Chamber of Anambra State. No, it was launched from Imo State. And that is some cooperation, if you ask me, or a kind of concurrent action. But something more concerted, more, more organized, needs to be done. And I just want to agree with you that there is need for a more organized regional cooperation. In fact, calling a spade, there is now a very strong need to have Southeast regional security force in the mold of Amotekun that you find in the Southwest Nigeria. I just hope I have answered your questions.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Michael, please, let's stick to the rule. Okay, so that he can remember your questions and so that he can also be able to answer them, within the time limit. Okay, the host, over to you, your question.
All right, Commissioner, thank you very much for your answer so far. Let me recognize my senior, Uchoka from Mefor, and then Namuku, Dr. Bidi Obieno, both of you are welcome. Now, Commissioner, people from Ihiala, and we have two questions for you, but can you go to one? People from Ihiala, Nedelum almost every day. Khalifa, our government, Neme to stop insecurity. Now that side of Anambra State. People from Oba as well. Nedekwa Khalifa, the government of Anambra State, Neme to stop a kind of cultism activities and some other things. Now, I want opportunity to have you here. Actually, my commissioner. Khalifa, your government, Neme, to stop insecurity. Nebe na ba mbalafa, Okacha, Ihiara. I want us to know, please.
Overall, my government is our government. Soludo government was put there by the Anambra. So it is our government. And why I am here with you is for us to share ideas so that I can take the feedback to the governor and the other process owners. Ihiala, I announced earlier that as we speak, there were major showdown in Ihiala as we speak. And I'll send you videos of actions, things going on. I'll send you videos. And that is what we are doing. Now, Oba is now proving to be a big problem, surprising to many of us, because nobody ever knew that Oba is this security challenge. Nobody, I for one, never knew until recently when we had a problem with the hotel we call Udoka Golden Point Hotel and Suites that was pulled down by the Operation Udogachi team. You know, after that, about 3 to 4 days ago, the government team called the SASA tried to carry out an operation in a park in Oba. And they used the tipper to block or harass them. And the thing led to a mishap that further led to the deaths of 6 of the SASA operatives on the spot. And the information I got last night was that the 2 more have died and about 11 in critical conditions. You know, people can see the kind of what you may call impunity of some people who believe that they're above the law. Well, you can see that from the SASA experience in Oba, and from what we also did with the hotel, the Udoka Golden Point Hotel and Suites, the government has its sights set on places like Oba. And we are carrying out full investigations to know precisely what happened in Oba. But one thing I assure us is that Oba will be rid of crime and criminality. Nobody is above the law. We are not joking here. This is very important. Nobody should just think that this is politics. No, it's not politics. Crime and criminality will have to give way in Anambra. Oba is just one of the many places that we have to sanitize. And those who believe that they are above the law, they are only testing the will of the Professor Soludo-led solution government. And I don't think it is necessary. After God, it is government. And we are going to prove this. We are already proving it. Those who want peace should just take the olive branch that government has offered. Government is employing kinetic, that is the brute force, is on. Very brutal force. But we are also looking at non-kinetic approach. The non-kinetic amnesty is one of them. Those who want to lay down their arms, they should do so now without any reprisal. They will be rehabilitated. They will be given 1 or 2 skills. They will be given empowerment. They will be given money to start a new life and pursue their happiness without going against the law. Because going against the law is like the relationship between the egg and the stone. If the egg rolls against the stone, it will break. If the stone rolls against the egg, it will also break. So the egg is at the losing end. So why try when you know you cannot win? The government is fully resolved to rid the state of crime and criminality and all the enablers of crime, all of them, ranging from drugs, ma ndị na-azị na fa bụ ndị na-agwọ oke ite, ndị na-agwọ odeshi, even some fake eze nwanyị and fake dibia, they are all going. Because if you cannot prove na agwọ oke ite and oke ite can produce money, if you can't prove it to government, you go in for 20 years. And if we find you with human part, is 25 years without option of fine. For me, it is even mild. You should go in for life. But let us start with that 25 years. Okay? I don't know if I answered your question.
Yes, of course.
Okay, thank you, sir. Before the bid, let me ask my own question, sir. You know, they say prevention is better than cure. I don't know, maybe Neku, anyway, I don't go me Neku, but my question is this. This side of Simon Eba, their own BLA or whatever they call themselves, hey, bidogo now, name a fundraising. And they have passed, and we bill have passed. I don't know, Munu, they are aware of it. And that bill will cause a lot of harm if care is not taken. And one of the problems I have with the government is that Haniche, until he maybe before Habia Atwa on it. So please, sir, being that now most people didn't sponsor these people are people not outside the country, especially US and UK, right? And only Shihakita no na US. And when also no we she write here the embassy, American embassy in Nigeria, or all their embassies, at least start to go there to write them and to inform them, at least they can start investigating these people and start to stop them to prevent, more damages he may or bring guy to where we are now. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the beautiful question. I'm sorry I can't answer this question in the open social media platform. Let's talk back channel. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Okay, let's go to Zobid. Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Beauty. And also want to say thank you to Kinga Nwanwoke for all that you do. And Dr. Mefor, our commissioner, I want to say thank you for coming and also congratulations for the first time from me. Appreciate you coming. It seemed like you heard our request, the last section here, even though this is not the exact type of platform that I requested that we have this type of meeting sometimes because the people in diaspora are really very interested in what is going on home. For me, I can speak for myself actually. But anyway, when I joined the broadcast was when you were narrating on so many things that Saludo have done in Anambra State. Yeah, I believe you talked about security, talked about economy, and but I did hear some of the aspects of the economy you talked about is essentially the services and the consuming aspect of it. I remember that production and distribution is also part of the economy. Production mainly at this time is very important. I remember when Saludo came into office also talked about restoring Akwete. I was expecting that I'll be getting some consignments of Akwete now, restoring the Use in Alba and every other farms, I believe. And so those areas, I'm not sure what has been done in that regard. But I do want to ask this question. Don't you think, even when you talked about the security outfits that Soludo established, don't you think that it took for a while for actions to begin? And also, I want to know what has our government done to bring to books these individuals that beheaded the lawmaker in Anambra. I believe two of them, Obiora Basimalo, um, Gabi or former. These are potential. These are, in the Anambra JGJ, um, Dr. Chike Ako Akonyele, and the host of other people. I'm not undermining anybody's life anyway, but these are the ones that we know, and even the ones that we can even hear people talking about. It should be a link that we can. There's a link to something that happened to Obiora Abasimala. I'm not sure what the government is doing about it to bring these people uh, to book. I don't know if I have one more minute to go, and I also heard you talk about the challenges we have in the local government and Umunse, given the proximity to Imo State. Um, and that brings to that brings my attention also to what you said that regional police, regional security outfit is you know is needed. What is the delay in all these things? Thank you very much.
Yeah, well, a lot is being done in agriculture to revive it, and so much, really so much. I will share some documents with you so that you can appreciate how far the government has gone in agriculture. It's one area where the Soludo government has really done fairly well. I will send to Ikenga to share with all of us. On the people you mentioned, first, let us establish the timelines. Abasimalo was taken during the gubernatorial campaign that brought Soludo to power. About the same time, some security operatives, policemen, about 3 of them were killed when Soludo, while campaigning to become a governor, was addressing the youth. The policemen that accompanied him to the place, 3 of them were killed. What does this mean? It simply means that Abasimalo's case actually happened there before Soludo came in, and what is he doing since he came in to look for Abasimalo? There are some structural challenges here. The way Nigerian security architecture is structured, it makes the governors almost helpless. Why? Because none of these security agencies are directly under the governor. What the governor has now that they can directly control, command, and direct is the agro chamber, the vigilantes. And these vigilantes don't have investigative powers under the law. It still goes back to the police, the DSS, and the others. They are the ones empowered by the law, by the country's constitution, to carry out investigations. And that's it. So whatever happened before Soludo came in, the police ought to say what they have been doing. And even what has happened since Soludo came in is still subject to investigations and intervention by the security agencies that are statutorily empowered to look into such matters. The governor is said that it is often said that the governor is the chief security officer of the state. But that is only in theory. Because you and I know that the commissioner of police, the director of DSS, the civil defense corps, even the army, none of them needs the approval of the government or the governor to do their job. None of them. So the question is, what have they done since these things happened over 3 years ago? That's the question. The governor of a state does not have the power to investigate anything. He doesn't. If he does, I want to be pointed to the provisions, either in the Police Act or in the Criminal Code or in the Nigerian Constitution, where the governor can. Let me give you an example. If a Soludo decides to set up a committee of inquiry, the committee of inquiry will lack investigative powers. It will not be able to order anybody to come or to ask for maybe phone log and account details and things like that. There is that limitation imposed by the Constitution. However, the governor has been pushing pushing the security agencies, I have witnessed at least 3 public fora where Governor Soludo was shouting about Abasemalu and demanding that justice be served that the man. In fact, to use his words, he said that if the man is alive, let's have him. If he's dead, let us know and they do even and they carry out the burial and put the closure to the case. If he can say this publicly, that if the man is alive, let us have him. If he can say this publicly, if he has other constitutional and statutory powers to do more than that, he would have done so. And if we are aware of any statutory powers that the governor can invoke that he is not aware of, I want to have it so that I can press that upon him to activate it. So the case of it's just like even the police people that died while he was campaigning. If he has the powers, he would have secured the justice for them. But it's the police, it's the DSS. They are the ones that have the power to investigate. So you need to understand this and help in putting pressure on the appropriate quarters so that results can come. And I think that is the much I can say about this, to be honest. We wish we can do more. And this has always been one of the reasons some of us are pushing for state police. If you have state police, you have investigative and prosecutorial powers that will enable you to pursue cases to their logical conclusions. The states don't have it at the moment. They cannot investigate. They cannot prosecute. That's it, my brother. Sorry.
Thank you, Dr. Mefor. Okay, Mr. Michael, one question, please.
Okay, thank you, Beauty. Honorable, in answering my question, you made some statement that personally I'm not really comfortable with. First, you said all of us, we are Biafrans. Personally, I choose to disagree with you because I'm not. I'm an Igbo man from Anambra State of Nigeria. Again, you said Nnamdi Kanu, some people are using the cash of Nnamdi Kanu to perpetrate this crime. Don't you think that this sentiments such as this are encouraging the people doing the same thing that is happening in Anambra State? Because as it is today, somebody started this thing that is going on. Somebody encouraged it, somebody called out for it, and these things are happening. But what we see among our elected officials is that they go ahead to exonerate the same person, then choose a few of the people to bear the brunt of the actions being taken. But somebody started it, somebody upheld it, and people are doing it in that person's name and order. But if it were to be the other way around, if you believe in Biafra and some other government, like government of Soludo, believe in Biafra, why don't they stop deceiving us, make it official, take it to the appropriate authority and present our state, our legislators, our senators, let them start talking about the Biafra. If you people believe in Biafra, because you can't come within our circle to say you believe in Biafra, and people are encouraged to go into violence because of such sentiment that 99% of Igbos believe they are Biafrans. And some very naive ones will start killing people and forcing useless laws against us in the quest for the so-called Biafra. Thank you very much.
Well, you see, don't mix things. Don't mix things up. I want you to Google bite of Biafra, and then understand that bite of Biafra is a geographical space which an Igbo is part of. The way you have Arewa and Oduduwa, that is the way you have Biafra. Bite of Biafra is not an imaginary name. because Opigo mentioned it. No, Bite of Biafra existed even before Nigeria, and Igbo is part of it. That makes all of us Biafrans.
Honorable,
So
Honorable, the map that I have doesn't say that.
Let me land. Let me land, please. Let me land. Let me land, please. This point is very important. I have told you the context under which I use the expression that we are all Biafrans. It has to do with the Bite of Biafra, which existed even before Nigeria. It's a geographical space, and Igbo land is part of it. If Igbo land is not part of the Bite of Biafra, then I am wrong. And I want to be educated on that. That is number one. Number two, nobody is telling you that Soludo or Dr. Mefor is interested in what you call sovereign state of Biafra. No, I've never advocated for that. Sovereign state of Biafra, that means reenactment of the state of Biafra as an independent state. I have never preached that. I am a federalist, just like Soludo. Soludo is a federalist. What I want is a restructured Nigeria. I've also, my Google law Mefor and federalism, you see things I have written. That is also the position of Soludo, a restructured Nigeria. So none of us is promoting what you call sovereign state of Biafra. We're not promoting it. For me, if Biafra will ever come, it has to be by default. What do I mean by that? If it is imposed on us, if Nigeria breaks and everybody goes, of course we'll go too now. But I will never be part of any agitation to break Nigeria if I can get a restructured Nigeria. Very simple. So you need to understand some of these things the way they are, so that you will know precisely where one stands and the context under which certain statements are made. I am a federalist. Soludo is a federalist. Both of us want a restructured Nigeria. We don't want independent state of Biafra. Why? Because me, personally, I believe that Ndi Igbo, we need a bigger space. And what is happening to Ndi Igbo in terms of marginalization is not really peculiar to Ndi Igbo. Almost every part of Nigeria is marginalized. Everybody is suffering. We are all suffering in the hands of the elites, all of us, in the hands of the Nigerian elites. And these elites cut across what they are Igbo, they are Hausa, they are Yorubas. Everybody is suffering because we lack leadership at the center. That's the simple truth. And I believe that if Nigeria is restructured and true federal system is enthroned in Nigeria, agitation for independent Biafra will fizzle out. That is my belief. I may be wrong, I may be wrong, but that is what I believe. So, personally, I will not stop or work against those who are fighting to have independent Biafra. As long as they don't bring arms into it, arms and insecurity.
Which one again?
You can do agitation. Even in the US, people are agitating the state of California. You still have pockets of people who want the state of California to become an independent country. In Nigeria, Oduduwa people, they still want Oduduwa Republic. But are they now bringing arms into it? Are they now killing themselves? I don't want us to dwell on this because it's a distraction. You know, it's a distraction. It has caused so much insecurity. And if you want, if you want us to stretch it beyond all this, then we'll need another forum, probably not this kind of open space and so on and so forth. Because I don't want us to dilute the essence of this our meeting. Nnamdi Kanu told me I was in Kuje prison. I was in Kuje prison to see Nnamdi Kanu about 3 times. I was in Umuahia to see Nnamdi Kanu at least 5 times. I don't know how many of us even know, have held one-on-one discussions with Nnamdi Kanu to understand how his mind works and all that. So I know what I'm talking about. And there are certain things I can't even share here. Simon Ekpa, I don't know. I've never met him. What he's preaching is different from what I believe that even Biafra agitation is all about. And they are responsible for, whatever you call insecurity in Anambra State. Because they're the ones that brought arms into this. I don't want to go into details, please. Let's say, because I don't want to say what I don't want to say. I think I have cleared the air on it. Please. Okay?
Thank you, sir. Okay, let me go to Zobid again. Go
Thank
ahead.
you,
2
Billy.
minutes, please.
Thank you, Billy. Honorable Commissioner, I appreciate your honest answer to some of my questions. But at the same time, at the end of it, you just say sorry. I don't understand that. I really appreciate the questions you answered. And, not alien to me, okay, because of some of us don't really understand it that way. But I'm very glad you made it very clear. You're speaking from the horse, somebody who is in the government that understands your limitations. And I know it does not only stop in security. My other question or follow-up question is, now what can be done? Because you just mentioned that Soludo is only controlling the vigilante, which also I highly recommend. And I believe that if this local, local security apparatus will still work in concert with the police. But the question now is, why all these barbarism? There's no due process. Even when I know I don't live there, but can the government be a little bit transparent so that people can be informed? Okay, and again, before I leave, because I don't want to dominate this platform, I'm making this honest request. If there will be a forum, you are the information minister, you can give us information and take information from us. That's why I always say that is Gamma Nanage. To bring a lasting solution to this mess that we are in now. Thank you.
Get your question, to be honest. Can you retouch the question again?
The question is why, what we're seeing for us who are in diaspora is like a very rash judgment. Most of the time, it's extrajudicial killing. Most of the time, people that are supposed to give more information are eliminated right there on the spot. Why? What is the why?
Well, I don't know how to really tackle that question, because you see, you are confronting people who are armed, and if you can't take them alive, you take them out before they take you out. That is how these things work. Yes, because they are armed to the teeth. So how do you really avoid the casualties when one of the parties is not prepared to lay down his arms? Is it not impossible? So the obvious reason why you have high casualty rate is because of resistance on their part. Government is already offering amnesty, saying, "Come out of the bush, let us talk. Let us rehabilitate you. Let us give you a skill, give you money, give you empowerment, so you can pursue an honest living." What more can a government do? And they are not prepared to come out of the forest. So what do? Leave them there, and many more people are being kidnapped. These things have got to stop somehow. So it's not as if people are arrested and after the arrest they are shot. No, I'm not aware of that. They're not shot, And a lot of information is actually coming out. A lot of information. And it's coming out from those who are arrested. Those who are able to throw up their hands in the air and accept to surrender themselves. Yeah. That's why many of them are secured alive now. There are some that were secured alive, some died. Those who died, as far as I am concerned, died in crossfire. Okay? And when I said I'm sorry, as a way of ending my last comment, is a way of saying that I'm unapologetic, to be honest, about my position on those things. That's the way of speaking. When I say I'm sorry, that is my position. That's what I meant. Unapologetically so. That is my position on such things. Until I am persuaded by superior argument and information. That is where I stand. Okay? More questions?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Okay. Mefor, go ahead. Mefor, go ahead.
Okay. Good evening, Honorable Commissioner. Good evening, all. My name is Mefor. Um, my questions are in two parts. You made reference to the fact that you believe in restructured Nigeria, and what I want to ask is restructuring along what line? The second aspect is uh, if the governor and probably some of his colleagues and all of you in the who belong to the political class believe in restructured Nigeria. What are you, the politicians, doing, or is it just by expressing it, just mere expression, so that it will be, so it will be that it just have been said. The issue of agitation borders on injustice. And I believe all of you, members of political class, and everybody, especially from the Southeast, believe that the Southeast is being marginalized. But I haven't seen any commensurate effort from the members of the political class to address these issues. The other question I want to ask is the reference made to the reference made you made to the assassination or kidnapping and disappearance of Honorable Abasimero. You rightly said that the state governor is, his hands is tied, that the security agencies are not taking orders from him. But I want to find out what the governor has done in terms of investigating that case. If his hands are tied, has he made a formal request to the security agencies to look into all those high-profile killings even non-high-profile claims as well. Because it's not just saying that the governor is not empowered. It's about what efforts the governor has made. Has there been an official engagement for the security agencies to investigate these cases? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Uche. See, I'll start from the back and walk to the beginning of your questions. See, Governor Nuguma Soludo has made several and repeated calls for a complete investigation into these cases to bring many of them to a closure, particularly that of Abasimalo. That of Abasimalo, he has been consistent about that one because it happened during his own gubernatorial campaign. It could have been him. The man was on his way in a convoy of his gubernatorial campaign to a place I can't remember now. When they were intercepted, and only him dragged that, and he has not been seen till today. So Soludo has made very passionate appeal to security agencies to work and bring that matter to a closure. Yes, he has said so. Then about the issue of restructuring, you know, Nigeria is a very complex place, and the Southeast as a bloc under Ohanese in 2017 produced a document and presented it as their position on Nigeria and their position on restructuring. That position of the Southeast, which was articulated and made known and available to the whole country and the world through Ohanese, tallies with the position of the Southwest, South, and the Middle Belt. Now, you know, these are positions, but you see, you have the constitutional provisions on how Nigeria can be restructured. And the constitutional provisions you have there is through amendment of the Constitution. That is what the Constitution has provided for. There's no place for a referendum or a place that authorizes what you may call a process that will produce a brand new constitution. There is no such provision. What that means is that if you cannot achieve restructuring through constitutional amendment, then you have to really find some other ways that will cause the government of the day to set up a kind of a process and then use the political will to get the National Assembly to adopt the outcome. That was what Jonathan did in 2014. Jonathan constituted a confab. The confab came out with over 600 recommendations on what should be done to restructure Nigeria. Jonathan refused to implement it. Jonathan, a Christian Southern president, he was there for 6 years. Obasanjo was there for 8 years and blocked all chances to restructure Nigeria through constitutional amendment. Not a single constitutional amendment happened under Obasanjo. Buhari came in, predictably refused to implement the confab report because he never believed in it. He didn't participate in it. He left after 8 years. Tinubu is there now. Tinubu was also not part of it. So there is nothing that Nigerian or Igbo elites should do or could have done they didn't do, because they already articulated a position that was adopted in 2017 in Oka. And incidentally, the person that made the presentation that day at Ekweme Square was a Professor Chukuma Soludo. He was the one that that read out the Igbo position on restructuring. And they were able, under Nnamdi Nwaodo, to push to other parts of southern Nigeria and Middle Belt to have a buy-in into that position. But I've just told you the constraints. It is not a walk in the park. You need to get a substantial part of northeast and northwest Nigeria to buy into any meaningful restructuring in Nigeria, because if it has to be done through the National Assembly, it's by vote. And to amend the Constitution, you need 4/5 of the members of the National Assembly to get that done. Or at least many of the clauses can be amended by two-thirds of both houses, House of Reps and the Senate. Well, technically, Southern Nigeria and the Middle Belt are up to two-thirds, but they have not been able to articulate, come together and be able to do that. Southeast cannot do it alone. That's the truth. Southeast cannot do it alone. Southeast has only 15 senators. And when you look at the number of House of Reps members, Southeast is the least also in the country. So there are constraints. We need to keep working until we achieve it. That is why I said those who are agitating, though I will personally not ask them to stop agitating, but they should not bring arms into it. They shouldn't. Because bringing arms into it has not destroyed the Southeast. Look at where we are. That's it. He has destroyed the Southeast. And now people move around in fear, which is not supposed to be. Agitation can go on the way it is going on in the Southwest without these arms. That is my position. So I believe in restructured Nigeria, and so Soludo also is a federalist. He is. And he read our position out. And he's a governor, and he has only 3 senators. And even the 3 senators, the 3 of them are not with him in the same political party. You see the problem. So it's not just a matter of Soludo saying restructure Nigeria. Where are the votes? It's not the problem of Soludo saying let Abasimalo be found. The police, it's their job to do that, and he has appealed to them to do that. If they say they can't find the man, what else could the Soludo have done? In fact, there has been a change of commissioners of police, about 5, since the disappearance of Abasimalo. About 4 or 5 commissioners of police have been changed in Anambra. So it's not even a matter of saying change the commissioner of police, because they have been changed in the last 3 to 4 years. It's a complex mix. Nigeria is a complex mix. So that is why it requires diplomacy, legalism. It requires us coming together and putting on our thinking cap. It's not just a matter of rendering the Southeast insolvent, crisis everything, security challenged, and our economy going down the drain. Every month, the Southeast loses in its economy to the tune of trillions. Every month, that to sit at home and insecurity alone. So, and I don't know. We are open to suggestions and recommendations. People should be able to tell us what we are not doing right, and how we can approach some of these things differently. What we are doing now is to restore security. And those who are bringing ideology into it, we disagree with them. We don't believe it has anything to do with Biafra agitation anymore. We don't think so. And if you understand that, those who believe that they are doing, they are genuine in what they are doing, they should take the little window that is open for them by the governor. There is a corridor offered by the governor so that people can take the amnesty offer and come out. If they take the amnesty offer and come out, they will be rehabilitated. They can continue the agitation without arms. That is the only solution we have now. They can continue it quietly without arms. Everybody has the right to agitate as long as you don't, cause arson, destruction, murder, kidnapping. All these things are criminalized under the law. It's not even a matter of Anambra home state, homeland security law. It's not that. Even under the penal code, not the penal code, the criminal code, all these actions are already criminalized. Kidnapping has always been a crime in Nigeria now. So even without this law, recently enacted in Anambra State, kidnapping has always been a law. It has always been a criminal offense. Armed robbery has always been a criminal offense. Murder has always been a criminal offense. So that's the much I can say, unless there is an aspect of your question you believe I haven't touched well.
Thank you, sir. Mefor, I will come back to you. The host, over to you.
All right, Commissioner, thank you very much for your answers once again. Now, something and they worried about, and I think Name send they go to your table before, but can opportunity to speak with you here one-on-one. I want that information. Na Federal College n'ise na Chinch na Chitabushi ụmụaka niile nọ there. And not only that, I want to put information where bully that is going on there in the SSS to the JSS. But the worst part of it, how the school is billing the students. Now, Obona, inweta admission na Federal College n'ise, after paying the school fees, they will ask you to bring some things like digital or different things, all these mosquito whatever and sanitizers. Now, to my utmost surprise, last year, every student na that school to bring 9,000 naira. And the Federal College needs about 2,400 students. If you calculate 9,000 naira times 2,400, you will get about 21,600 and something thousand naira. Actually, Mr. Commissioner, something like this. What are you going to do, to stop people who are extorting students? And what are you going to do to make sure now bullying at that school will stop? And what are you going to do to make sure na change na tabushi ụmụaka na that school will stop? These are my questions.
Yeah, well, there is one major constraint already, The constraint is that the college is federal. It's not directly under Anambra State. That is one level of it. It's already a setback, in terms of direct intervention. But since the school is a domicile in Anambra State, what I think I will promise is to discuss things you have raised with me now with the commissioner of education, herself a professor, and somehow where she may be able to talk to the principal of the school, and where we don't get the necessary cooperation, we can petition the Federal Ministry of Education itself, direct to the Minister of Education. But like I said, the school is not directly under us, and because it's a federal government college from the name you gave. So we can only appeal and petition. These are the two things we can do. So if I get uh, the complaint from you in writing so that I can get the exact words, the exact wordings of the complaint, I will forward it to my sister commissioner and then discuss it further with her. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, let's go to Mefor. Then after that, Zobid. I think that will be it.
No, that's all right. Let's another person go ahead because I don't want to drag the issue because I'll be going back to what has been attended to before. So let others who have fresh questions go ahead for now.
Okay. Zobid, go ahead then. 3 minutes, please.
Thank you again, and thank you for everything that you're doing. Dr. Lome, for our commissioner, I am very happy with you, with the way you have delineated a lot of limitation to the state governors. I'm so happy that you're very honest about all these things. When you were speaking, you referred to yourself as a federalist, and by extension, our governor as a federalist. And in line with some of these things that you delineated, as far as as it relates to your limitation with the federal government, to the federal government, do you think that the fundamental human rights, your fundamental human rights, as well as the Anambrarians and other people, have been abused or currently abused by the Nigerian government? Because you define Nigeria as a complex society. And I believe that these rights are inalienable to every person that calls themselves a human being. My question again, the second question is, do we really consider ourselves humans or human beings? The first question, do you believe that your rights are being violated with all the limitations that you can't even investigate any case? For example, the government of Anambra State is limited to investigate a case that is very that originates from Anambra State, that concerns an indigene of Anambra State, and so many other things that you said here. That's my two questions. Do you feel that your rights are being violated? And are we truly human beings? Because these rights, human rights, fundamental human rights, are designated for humans, including life, liberty, freedom of expression, freedom of religion, and so on and so forth. And you rightly emphasize that people who want to agitate should continue. In Nigeria, we know that people agitate, especially in Igbo land, they will come out and kill them. So, what are we supposed to do? How do we carry on with this agitation without setting our lives?
Well, your two questions for me, they are one. Um, do we really consider ourselves human beings if our rights are abused to the extent that many of us have complained about? I'll answer that question this way. You know, Nigerians as a whole have come under very severe human rights abuses over time, even before colonialism. The colonial experience of Nigerians is not funny. It's supreme. It's a supreme human right abuse. Yeah, and that is what has extended from post-colonial times to the present, the contemporary Nigeria. Yeah, because if it depends on how you really define rights and their abuses in Nigeria. The marginalization suffered by Ndi Igbo since the end of the Civil War is real. But I also say that Ndi Igbo are not the only ones suffering marginalization. If you talk about human rights abuse, the final of it should be what you may call the right to life. If you look at the statistics, not East Nigeria is still topping the chart, followed by Northwest. Southeast is not even the third, or perhaps the third. What that means is that some regions of Nigeria suffer greater human rights abuse or abuses more than the Southeast, more than Ndi Igbo. What that means is that there is nothing exclusive about human rights abuses where it comes to Ndi Igbo, that Ndi Igbo now suffer more than the rest of the country in terms of their human rights, particularly where it comes to right to life. The deaths that have happened in the Southeast, over 80% of those deaths were caused by our own people. So if we really talk in terms of human rights abuses, such as the abuse of the right to life, if we are the ones taking our own lives now, do you blame the federal government for it? Even federal forces have been victims. Soldiers have been killed on the streets of Anambra and the Southeast. Soldiers, policemen, Navy, Air Force. The videos are all over the place. So we are all abusing ourselves, as far as I am concerned. And that is exactly why I was saying, why don't we keep our agitation peaceful so that we'll be able to defend and claim that our rights have been abused? Because as it is now, when you talk about unknown gunmen, Unknown gunmen, our people are also part of unknown gunmen. The facts are there. You may wish to know that over 70% of the people arrested in Anambra in connection with insecurity, kidnapping, cultism, armed robbery, and other violent crimes, 70% of them are not from Anambra State. And 90 something percent of all of them combined are Igbo. The records are there. So let us stop, deceiving ourselves. We are part of our problem. That's all I'm trying to say. We are part of it. So if over 80% to 90% of those causing insecurity and deaths in Anambra State, and indeed in the entirety of the Southeast and Igbo, who do you now blame? You blame the federal government for killing your own people? So we have a problem. We really have a problem because some criminals have hijacked Biafra agitation. That is the position of Anambra State government. They have hijacked it and endangered everybody, including Biafra agitation itself. They have endangered even the Biafra agitation and set it back. Because how do you recover this whole thing? How do you recover it? Where do we start from again? The first attempt to achieve Biafra was under Ojukwu. We all know how it ended in 1970. We now had a second wave by Wazurike, Ralph Wazurike. You and I know how it ended. The third wave was started by Nnamdi Kanu. We are seeing how it is going. We're all seeing it. And so by the time Nnamdi Kanu now comes out, will he still be able to recognize the Biafra agitation he left behind? Are you sure that Nnamdi Kanu will still be able to command the people he commanded earlier with what some of these people have done with the whole agitation? Have they not even formed the government in exile, proclaimed Simon Ekpa prime minister? Huh? Shared, set up, they have ministers and everything. They have set up government. Huh? So what will be the role of Nnamdi Kanu when he comes out? Can't you see that we're on our way to Somalia? So let us understand that the future is bleak for us unless we all come together and really work on ourselves. Yes, because if Nnamdi Kanu comes out, it will not be easy for him to really put the whole things together again. Factions have already emerged. There are factions. If you go to Sudan, go to Somalia, go to Afghanistan, you will see what factions did in agitations for what we may call rights of the people. Once you bring arms into it, you are in trouble. That's what has happened to us. So your question, we are human beings because that is what God said we are. And amongst us, there are still people who are sane, and it is not an Igbo thing, it's not a Nigerian thing. I think the entire third world is condemned to what is going on. And I believe it's a life in transition. We will be able to outgrow this as we move on. Probably, if we can't do it, if we cannot achieve it, our children will. We shouldn't despair. We are human beings. We are not animals. No, we are not. We are human. I know I am human. I don't know about you. If you believe you are human, you are then.
Okay, thank you, sir. I don't know, Migachi. Wait, 3 more questions because I'm on mute. Shall I go? Is that okay?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, sir. I have a question for you. Igbo question. Before Marge read the question, Igbo. Can you mute your mic, sir, please? Okay. You asked if Nandi Kano Potama hand control what's going on. I don't think so. Because the whole thing it gets to go out of hand. But my question is this. You mentioned that the government wike hapụkwa ka a na-eme agitate as long as anything that have to do with violence. And Majugu now consider that the Court of Appeal Emegunda prescribe. Are you all considering that while making that decision? Thank you.
My dear, what I have said is not a governmental position. Agitation in a democracy is a fundamental human right. You can agitate. It's your right to agitate. And agitation for Biafra is not a franchise of IPOB. And I don't think that the Nigerian Court of Appeal prescribed Biafra agitation. I'm not aware of that. Their judgment is limited to IPOB. So, in fact, as we speak, you have over 30 Biafra agitation groups. Others can continue what they are doing peacefully without getting in the way of economic development by unleashing violence, joining on no government, and making life hell, a living hell for Igbo. Once that is along that path, I don't see how any law will come against that. So it's not for the government of Chukwuma Soludo to say continue with the Biafra agitation. Soludo never asked them to start it in the first place. So he's not in a position to tell them to stop. His own concern is the criminality, nothing else. He cannot tell them to continue or not to continue. But as the governor of Anambra State, he is duty bound to stop criminality. He must. And that is what Operation Udogachi is all about. Operation Udogachi has nothing to do in the direction of stopping Biafra agitation. No, it's dealing with the criminals. It does not matter whether the criminals have to do with Biafra or have to do with cultism or have to do with anything. That is what we are facing, criminality, not agitation. Nobody is arrested because he said he's a Biafran or he wants a sovereign Biafra. That's why I said even in the US, there is agitation for a place like California to be left as a country. In UK, Scotland went for a referendum to go away from the United Kingdom. That is agitation. In Spain, Catalonia, they wanted to go away. Even their own referendum succeeded. That's an agitation. But nobody is bringing arms into all these things I have mentioned. So nobody is saying that Soludo will allow or disallow agitation for sovereign state of Biafra. It is an individual decision and right to. In fact, somebody can even, do you know, as you are here now, you can decide to disown your own family and assume any name. So any group can say anything they want. The issue is you must follow legal process. If you are able to follow the legal process, there are procedures. There are things you will do to bring the agitation for sovereignty of a section of a country before the international community. There must be countries backing you. But as we speak now, there is no single country that is ready to present the agitation of Biafra before United Nations. Not one. Not a single country. And United Nations deals with countries and not with subnationalities. So that's the constraint. So if you are able to agitate and the country is ready to back you up, like Ojukwu got some backing during Biafra between 1967 and 1970, Ojukwu got places like Tanzania, Gabon, and one or two others to back what he was doing. And even at that, he went to United Nations and the vote failed. He went to African Union, the vote failed. And he continued fighting until he was defeated. So even Ojukwu's case is better than our own because Ojukwu got some countries to support him. Today we have not a single country. Do you know that France, that even had sympathy for Biafra during the first wave under Ojukwu, France is now saying they are no longer interested. Do you know that when the United Kingdom, Britain particularly, there was a petition written to them by I think Emeka series, one of the founders of IPOB that is still alive out of the 5 that started it. He wrote a petition, and I have a copy of the reply from I think was it Gordon Brown. As at that time, he was the Secretary of the Foreign Affairs in Britain. His reply was that whatever agitation we have in Nigeria, that whoever wants any agitation must follow the legal process. That anything that is not democratic and legal, that they will not be party to it. That's Britain.
Okay, sorry, sir.
These are problems.
Sorry, sir.
You see why we need diplomacy and legalism? We need to follow some process. You don't go there and throw your people in harm's way, throw them under the bus, and at the end of the day, total confusion, and criminals have now hijacked everything. Criminals are all over the place, all over Igbo land, claiming that Biafra agitators, killing our people. Can't you see where we are? So we need to return to drawing board. Those who want to do agitation, let them continue, but we must leave arms out of it. I'm not speaking for Soludo, I'm not speaking for Anambra State government. This is my opinion as Dr. Law Mefor. Any person that is bringing arms into this will be sure that it is criminality, and government will fight it until it puts it down. And that is the reason Operation Udogachi was formed, is to combat criminality and not Biafra agitation. I don't know if this point is made. We need to understand.
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir. My question, actually, I wanted to be specific. I was referring to IPOB. I'm not talking about Biafra
Yes,
agitation.
and I've answered you that my point remains that nobody, the Supreme Court, the Court of Appeal judgment, the way I read it, never proscribed the Biafra agitation. What they proscribed is IPOB. They are two different things. Because Biafra agitation is not a franchise of IPOB now. IPOB is maybe the flagship and the champion of Biafra agitation, but they are not the only ones into Biafra agitation. I can count at least 30 groups that I know.
And I understand that. My question is, are you all considering that IPOB, the prescription of IPOB? That's what I'm asking you.
The prescription?
Yes, of IPOB.
I don't care about their prescription. I don't care about it because we warned. Their prescription is based on arms. And for me, I don't care about it because we warned that arms should not be brought into this. We warned. Go and read the conditions for their prescription. You will see the issues about arms and things like that. It's not really about agitation. It's not about agitation. Boko Haram was proscribed because of arms. Okay, how come that the struggle for Oduduwa Republic is not proscribed? Because they are doing it using other methods. How come a place like Mozob movement for not that of Wazurike, but for Ogoni people? Why is it not proscribed? It's because They are doing it in a different way. They are not, it's not nobody can accuse them of armed struggle. That's the problem. I don't know how to explain some of these things again. So for me, I am not interested, you know. In fact, when before arms came into this, I was a very close friend of Nnamdi, and I was visiting him both in Kuje and in Umuahia. You know, somehow I was even technically could be said to be a member of IPOB because I associated with them closely. But we had to pull away when the game changed. And they brought Eastern Security Network into it without any law backing it. That's a direct confrontation of the Nigerian sovereignty. That's the problem here. That's the issue here. That's where we lost it. That is exactly where the struggle derailed. Exactly there. You know, so you know, let's recover
Okay, sir.
Anambra, let's recover the Southeast. Those who want agitation, they should continue it without arms, do it quietly, diplomatically, legally, and all that. They can elect themselves based on their popularity, go to National Assembly and move motions and bills for whatever they want to be done to Nigeria. Yes, that is what they need to do. If you go to Ambazonia and the struggle for Ambazonia state, the people who are championing it in Cameroon are part of the Cameroonian Congress, represented representing their people. They are inside the Congress, the way you have National Assembly here. But where are IPOB members in National Assembly? Where are they? They are not there. You know, so these are problems we are facing. So even Cameroon here, what the Amazonia is doing, we are not even doing it in Nigeria. You know, so I don't know what else to say. To be honest with you, I am pained. I am pained because the southeast that used to be the safest place in Nigeria is not security challenged. Okay, so that's my answer to that.
Okay, thank you, sir. I think we will have to round up, but before we do that, I'll plead if you can come back again, since you said you want to hear our solutions. Maybe we have suggestions based on the
I will.
solutions.
I am
If you don't mind.
available. I am available anytime, any day. Just give me
Okay,
a few
sir.
hours head start. I'll be with you.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Okay, Zemefo, over to you. 3 minutes, please.
Okay, thank you. My question goes back to the Honorable Commissioner. When he was talking about human rights abuses, he made mention of the fact that Southeast is not the only um, zone or region that is undergoing certain. I can't remember he was, but I want to ask, um, what is bigger than marginalization when the Southeast, as you mentioned, they have only 15 senators and they are constrained in so many ways? What is more than discrimination, marginalization than that? Second, what is the purpose of these elected representatives from the Southeast if they cannot speak up? We're not talking about Biafra now. There are a lot of issues with the Southeast, but of note, none of these elected representatives have been able to sponsor bill that goes to the very heart of what the problem of Southeast, the Igbo question, in fact, in Nigeria is. So I understand you are a commissioner within a state within the Southeast, but You are also a political associate of some of these senators and House of Rep members. Why are they across board? Why are there not effort being made to represent the Southeast? You said that there is nothing that could be done. Nigeria is a complex place. Everybody's hands are tied. If you want to agitate, you can agitate. So for Southeast and Southeasterners, it is about slavery in Nigeria, eternity, because there is no way out. If I am to follow your line of argument, what it means is let the elected representatives do what they are doing, keep quiet, not representing the people, and especially on very important issues that go to the very heart of their existence. I don't know whether you got my question. Why are they there?
I think I got you. I think I understand you. And let me say this: if the Southeast is trapped and enslaved in Nigeria, other parts of Nigeria are even more enslaved. That is the truth. We may not believe it though, but I tell you that the Igbo are not, they are not backward in Nigeria. Yes, we have marginalization since the Civil War, but we are dealing with it. And it is also not true that Southeast representatives are keeping quiet. No, a number of them are talking. The recent Southeast Development Commission that was signed into law by Tinubu, there was a bill sponsored by Ndebai in the National Assembly, and they got it. That is something. So it's to address the issue of development in the Southeast. So some actions are being exerted by some of them. Probably some of them may not be as active as we want them to be. But we cannot say that for somebody like Enyinia Baribe. We cannot say that for somebody like Ditume. We cannot say that for so many of these other senators and the House of Reps members. You can't say that about somebody like Benjamin Akanlo, that is deputy speaker. You know, it depends on what we are really looking out for or what we expect should be done. Ndị Igbo, they are not doing badly in Nigeria, as far as I am concerned. It could be better. Yes, I agree. There is marginalization. I agree. Yes. But again, you know, some of the problems we are facing today, they are fallouts of the Civil War which were lost. You know, the truth is bitter. What is the truth? The military fought the war, defeated Biafra, took over Nigeria, and they were the ones dispensing things. They were the ones that gave us even the constitution we are using today. The military. So it's not as if Nigerians sat down on one table and say, let there be Igbo marginalization. It's a military legacy which has to be dealt with systematically, diplomatically, and legally, not militarily. This is my position. I may be wrong. I may be wrong. I believe that we will keep untying the knots gradually through political participation. And that is one of my problems with the Biafra agitators, because they have refused to participate in politics in Nigeria. That is one of the points of disagreement I had with Nnamdi Kanu, because he shunned political participation. I once asked Nnamdi Kanu, I said, have you considered a Senator Nnamdi Kanu in National Assembly, bringing the issue of Biafra to the fore? Asked him that question. I asked him, have you considered a Governor Nnamdi Kanu in Abia State? To use one state in the southeast to demonstrate how governance can be done, can be achieved. If you see him, ask him whether I asked him these things. So political participation. We cannot stay away. We must fight this within the ambience of the law. If you don't fight it within the law, then it means that we will continue on this path of armed resistance. Armed resistance is not good for us. We can't survive it. We cannot. You can see what has happened in just in a space of 1 to 2 years. That we started all this idea of instant security network and all this. Look at where we are now. So when you say the Igbos would continue in servitude for eternity, it's not an Igbo thing. Please, it is not. Ndị Igbo are all over Nigeria. Ndị Igbo are all over Nigeria. Anambra alone, 50% of ndị Anambra are not even in Igbo land. They are all over Nigeria, pursuing their happiness. So the Igbo exclusion and all that may have been, yes, it is there, but not the way we are presenting it. Let's be realistic now. Yes.
Honorable Commissioner, I'm sorry, sir, but a situation whereby you have 18 senators, at least from each zone, and then you have 15. I'm just giving that as an example. Is that not marginalization? Is that not discrimination too many?
Let me give
Do you know the level of underrepresentation?
Let me
You know
give
the
you
level of
information
subjugation?
Let me give you information now, right? Buhari, the most hated Nigerian president by Ndị Igbo, told Ohaneze under Nyamodo to bring a state that he will pursue it. To bring a state to be created in the southeast, that he will pursue it with his presidential powers. Till today, Ndị Igbo have not done that. Nyamodo did not. Ohaneze did not respond to that. So some of these things, when we talk about, we need to also look at the roles some of us played in Igbo marginalization. We need to look at some of those roles. These are facts, historical facts. Historical facts. The state to be recommended for creation became an issue in Igbo land. Some wanted Nsukka, some wanted Adada, some wanted Etiti, some wanted Aba, some wanted Anioma, some wanted all sorts. And the bickering is on till this moment. Buhari, in a national television, said it, that today he has not seen anything. So, who do you blame? Somebody said that that Buhari was just saying that. Why don't you give him benefit of the doubt, give him the state, and let him fail in creating it? Then these are our claim that we have only 15 senators can be validated. But even the efforts to create states in the southeast are defeated by our own people. Defeated by Ndị Igbo. Like I said, I admit that there were marginalization, but there is so much we can do to help ourselves. So much we can do to help ourselves. We cannot marginalization when we have not even exhausted the little powers given to us by the Nigerian Constitution. Nigerian Constitution has not stopped Ndị Igbo from Igbo states from coming together to build common projects like railway that will ring up the 5 states, to build some industries like they are doing in the southwest. These are issues. And those who say that the current political leaders are not doing it, why don't we replace them? Are they gods? Why can't this agitation be channeled towards taking over political power? At least in the southeast, nobody is saying all these things. Nobody is nobody is doing that. Nobody is looking in that direction, and will turn down to say that the elites, the senators, who made them senators? Is it not because we kept quiet and they became senators and governors? Why can't we come together and insist on what we want? That's my point here. Why can't we come together? Why can't we really focus on an Igbo? Look, the state of California in the US is the fifth or sixth largest economy in the world, but it's only a state in the US. So you mustn't even be the president of Nigeria to organize Igbo land and make us happy. There is enough for us within there. So when we talk about marginalization, what have we done with even the little we have gotten? What have we done with the little we have gotten? That's the issue here. Because if we organize ourselves politically, we'll be able to, even the political elites that are in power, if we organize ourselves properly, they must listen to us. They must. They will have no choice, because it's a popular agitation talking about change, talking about how things can be better done, and so on and so forth. But are we doing that? No, we are not. The Biafra agitators, what is their master plan to develop Igbo land? Where is it? There is nothing like that. There's no master plan to develop an Igbo. So we're just talking about, there is no master plan. I want to see the master plan.
Honorable Commissioner, we are not talking about Biafra now. We're talking about Ndi Igbo. The representatives of the Southeast, what are they doing?
We are not the only ones marginalized.
Because it's not just saying agitation.
We are not the only ones marginalized. We are not the only ones marginalized. Not only us. Otherwise, there will be no agitation. There will be no. In fact, do you know that the Boko Haram agitation is also agitation? Is it not marginalization? What's the meaning of Boko Haram? Is it not an excluded group that believe that the Western education does not favor them? What else is agitation? Oduduwa Republic, is it not agitation? Movement for...
But the North already has de facto autonomy in Nigeria. They have their Sharia.
Yes. They have
okay, so who else? Where else do you have it in Nigeria?
Igbo is not 90% Christians. Why don't you make the Southeast a Christian state? Sharia, is it not Islam? Why don't you impose Christian laws in Southeast Nigeria?
It's not possible. There's nothing like Christian law.
What you created? Who said there is no Christian law? Who said there is no Christian law? There is Christian law. Look, you see, that is where I have problems with the way we pursue some of these things.
Honorable Commissioner, there is a secular constitution. These guys came in
according to Christian dictates. It's a law in itself. You don't have to. It doesn't have to be a case that if somebody steals, you cut his hand. It doesn't have to be, because that is not Christian precepts. For us to know that we have Christian principles and laws that we can follow. In fact, go to the book of Deuteronomy. Is it not about laws? The 10 Commandments, is it not laws? What exactly is law? What is law? What exactly is law? 10 Commandments. Every constitution in the world derived from the Bible. Even Sharia, if you go through Sharia very well, is a derivative of the Bible.
The problem is for my elected representatives. They are doing nothing at the same time prevailing on people from
come and become a senator.
Voices.
Come and become a senator. I will be your campaign manager. Me will be a campaign manager. Come and become a senator. Come and become a senator. There is nothing that says that you overqualified to become anything in Nigeria. Can we all work towards, putting in place people that can represent in a way and manner that we want? Can we leave this internet something and come home and get these things done? We must be practical here, because we stay away and the charlatans will take over this place and we turn around to express disappointment. Look, somebody said that the price we have to pay, the price we have to pay for keeping away from politics is that we'll be governed by fools. I'm not the one that said that. It's one of the ancient thinkers. As long as we keep away, we must be prepared to live under the people we believe are not qualified to lead us. It's because we are not involved in politics. We are not. Let us get involved in politics. That is my last statement this night. My watch is saying 1 a.m. and I have a meeting 7 o'clock, so I need to catch some sleep. Call me again. I want us to do this again. I want people to prepare their questions and everything. I will come for another 3 hours. We will keep talking about and over some of these things until there is an agreement.
Ichi anụ ehi agụ oluzie mgbe m chọrọ ka m bata tụnye ọnụ ama m na wa na-akụkwu biko
Ngwanụ tụnye n'ọnụ na since na tụnye n'ọnụ tụnye ọnụ.
Please, wait. Before you ask you, Unana has stick it to time. 3 minutes or 2 minutes to ask your question. Then yeah, we wait 5 minutes is done so that other people can answer because it's not fair. Okay, go ahead.
Biko nwanne m nwaanyị, thank you very much. Anụ ehi agụ na onwe ekene m gị, Honorable Commissioner. It's quite interesting because argument in Nava, I listen. I was laughing here because he have Mefor versus Mefor. So it's a very good one. Dịka anyị na-ekwu isi ya ọ na-adị izi emesịa na-ekwu a na-eme anyị nke a na-eme anyị nke a na-eme anyị nke ọzọ olu mgbe anyị atụ elekshọn agbanaba ọsọ ihe ya na-anụ ofe nsala day mmadụ ewelu PVC kaadị ya tinye n'elu nọ nke ara wọk nke ọzọ ara wọk fine and good. Ọ bụrụ na onye a chọrọ ka eme elekshọn ọ chọrọkwana ịrọpụta ndị mmadụ, then onye ọbụla batazilu there by means or by any crook, you have to live with it. Ịchọkwanụ ka ndị ahụ ghara ịpụta, we get involved and ihe na-emekwana anyị na-abụ anyị nwa ha n'ofu. Ọ bụrụ na ọ gaghị ka anyị si wee chọọ, onye ọbụla gbanabazie ọsọ, it doesn't work, it doesn't make nke ọzọ. I remember mgbe unu desi akwụkwọ, ọ bụrụ na ịleta anụ ya agụ mgbe I think UPP Osita Chidoka, is it Opga or UPP, I think? Osita Chidoka and Chudi or Ford. Yeah. They were the party that talked about referendum, that talked about all these things that is encapsulated in this so-called quote-unquote agitation. Onwelonye gelu hante. Abu na mmadụ si gị, unu tụnyelu masị sinetọ, ọkwa unu si nọọ ka eje ebe demand nka onye alụ ebe a na ihe ọ na-eme demand. And so ndị kwesịzịrị ịgbata gbaa onye ahụ aja n'ukwu agbanaba ọsọ. Onye ahụ jezie maybe somebody else bụ a political job and all somewhere bute ego sponsor ya mee ha anụnwa ebe ndị nke ọzọ gbanabago ọsọ o win election. You now expect that person o jee kwube on your behalf. Onwelu social contract gị na ya nwe ọ ga-eji wee jekwuo on your behalf. So the bottom line bụ na this is a marathon. Ọ bụla okwu ya ebido n'abalị a kwubie obie n'abalị a. If you keep engaging in politics, ịbịa na Sharia law, because let's not take this thing. Ama na ndị ugwu nwe Sharia, mana anyị marụkwa ama na Nigeria na anyị nwekwa customary law.
Excuse me, Mazi, I think Maneko to ndị ọzọ in and it's not fair to them. Biko, John, question you fast, please.
Because nwere question, not just ka nlacha ya ọnụ na okwu adịghị maka na
Ngwana gị
ekwukọtazie ya
hapụ
na
m ka m ga-ajụ question na biko sa ọ dịrọ mma ịkọtụ ndị ọzọ off, please.
ngwanụ
Biko,
I
try to
yield
question.
nwaanyị ọma
Okay,
iwu
thank
oge
you,
adị
sir.
n'ọgụ
Thank you. Oh, thank you. Okay, Michael, go ahead. 2 minutes, biko.
nne m njọ question ọ ga-ete honorable aka ezi ya controversial question so ọ bụrụ na ọ ga-abịa mbọsị ọzọ ka ndozi ya maka Nnamdi Kanu na Simon Ekpa ka ndozi ya mbọsị ọzọ ihe ndị na-ekwuru
Okay, okay, thank you, biko. I appreciate it. Okay, Mr. Ani, go ahead. 2 minutes.
Okay. Good evening, Commissioner. In came my whole question, I just want to thank the government for handling me because with hearing you this evening, have a lot of very good assurance. At least I know I seriously nice enough that I will come back to have peace in Amiibo. And one thing again is, as you could this evening, know that people are going with full force. I'm very happy to hear that. Let all this their propaganda, because the next propaganda now they will start coming up. Hey, they are sending people to kill our people. I'm very happy you gave us that assurance that the government have come out with full force. Our forests must be liberated from these criminals, whatever name they want to use it and take themselves. I'm very happy with what you've given the submission you've given us.
Mr. Ani.
Yes.
Somebody, the mic is muted. Okay, go ahead and round up, Mr. Ani.
Yes, okay, thank you very much. So mine is not just a question. I just want to. I'm happy with what I heard this evening, and we just hope that we keep on the Anambra will keep on supporting the government any which way it is. At least with this effort, especially of this Agunde chamber, that we want to have peace back in Anambra as it used to be, and no amount of propaganda or whatever is going to stop. As he said, we are marching. Let's march and clear our forest of all these criminals so we can come back home and come back in peace. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Namira, go ahead. 2 minutes, please.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Actually, this opportunity welcoming Commissioner. I want to greet you, sir, for your responses. And the particular question I want to ask is concerning the issue of flooding. Anambra North, as a senatorial zone, yearly experience massive flooding. And this thing has been a problem since time immemorial. I don't know if Anambra State government has a solution for this particular problem. Is there a program Anambra State government has to actually address this issue or even help displaced people? I want to make reference to my own immediate community, Niata Anam. Anam is in Anambra West local government area, and our people find it very difficult to survive in this particular period. Even after the period, we are in a Ponzi time. So our people to renovate their house, people that have boreholes.
Please round up, sir, please.
Okay, sir. Okay. So at the end of the day, it's a very difficult period for people. I want to know if there is anything the government is doing to address this issue. Thank you.
Over to you, Dr. Law Mefor. Biko, apụkwana asamizacha ka Maazị Ezeoke nwee ike kwucha ihe ọ chọrọ ikwu. Biko, ewekwana iwe. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, anyị nwere ihe a na-eme maka flooding. In fact, today, by tomorrow morning, you will see the press release I issued today and touch this flooding in two ways. One, Bona, ndị be anyị so cause flooding and storm water erosion. They cause it, you know. How do they do that? If one at some of our places now, a full na ebe places the erosion prone ka a na-eje egwu aja. So even some places where government had done some interventions, you will see na egwu aja into some of the interventions are damaged. Mmiri zobe again, nsogbu ebidokwa ebe ahụ. So there is an appeal that we need to do something to at least see ebusi na aja n'ebe government asịrọsi na egwu aja. All the undesignated places, igwu aja there is going to cause a problem between government and onye ọbụla na-enye nke one level. Then when it comes to flooding, nke Anambra na experience over time, I think we have taken it up seriously, and we are even getting international support. This week, the deputy ambassador of Japan to Nigeria came to Anambra because of this flooding disaster mitigation. And they donated some vehicles, some trucks, and some early detection and warning equipment. These are some of the things that we are putting in place to ensure that we anticipate flooding and take care of our people, relocate them in good time. In fact, in the last 3 years that Soludo has been in power as governor, I'm happy to say that due to our proactive measures, there has not been a single death recorded because of flooding. And this year, we are getting set seriously. I've just told us about the equipment we received from Japan. We have other equipment also. What that means is that water rising in Anambra now, water rising in Anambra can now be better anticipated, and we can evacuate our people in good time and plan the disaster mitigation better, and the palliatives also needed can be acquired in good time also. So your fears should be allayed by the fact that the government is proactive about this. No deaths have been recorded in the last 3 years, and we hope, God being our helper, that with the better preparations we are making for this year and the years to come, that our people will not suffer. They will not suffer any flooding disaster. That is what I can say.
Thank you, sir. Mazi is okay. I'm sorry for interrupting you before. Go ahead, sir.
Nsogbu adịrị, ọ dị ka ya bụ okwu agafego, nwere ihe ọzọ anọ m ya mgbe o kwupụtakwazi ya atụnye ya ọnụ ka m rapụ anụ ehi agụ na awa kọmishọna ka o je na-akpọ ụla na echi bụ ụtụtụ taa bụ ụbọchị na ọrọzi echi.
Okay, thank you, sir. Go ahead, host, and close.
Daalụ na ụmụnne m. Daalụ.
Our commissioner nke bụ eziokwu bụ na abịa na Anambra steeti mma sị na mgbe unu bidocha, to be honest, I thought na ọ ga-abụkwa just like jokes anyị na-afụ na Anambra steeti, mana o nwere ofufe ka m obi. Ife ka m obi bụ na anyị afụgo performance onye bụ the executive governor of Anambra State mgbe ọ bụ ọ nọ into banking. He performed very, very well. So mgbe ọ batara na Anambra, ihe m na-agwadowe people bụ na the way onye gakwa school na onye gara mana ọ gachaghị ọfụma abụghị the same. Onye kpata onye agachaghị ọfụma nwee ike iji gidigidi. By the end of the day, onye gara ọfụma well pen just dee ihe onye agha agachaghị ọchụrụ for 30 years, detie na ofu ndeta under 24 hours. And the mecha ọ bụrụkwa the same thing m kwuru bụ ihe mee. Ọ bụrụ na nna campaign olu Professor Soludo, but nke bụ eziokwu bụ na we are surprised. Nsịghị na m adịghị surprised because o nwee mgbe o luru nchekwa nọ na Soludo amara what to do, not just only big English ka ọ bịa ịsụ. Even o nwee mgbe nnọkọtakwuo ọsọ oyibo dịka prọfesọ na-asụ ọ nọ ya alụ ọrụ. But I don't know na ọ na-put measures. Mgbe o mechazi ihe niile o meta pụtazịa mapụta ebe niile dị egwu. So anyị kenere ya, kenekwanụ gị nwa na-ewepụta your time na-ayọkwanụ ka ịgwakwa others, because the problem anyị nwekwanụ with some of you bụ that communication bridge. Ọ bụ na anyị na-communicate effectively, I don't think na ndị a na-abata bịa gwa sị na Biafra ya bịa echi na ọbịa echi onye na-akwa balo na Nkwọ Nnewi abụrụ gọvanọ of Nnewi. Even ha ji ala steeti ha etinye hodum wepụ Nnewi ama nke agụnyekwado Nnewi na their states, their 40 states. So ọ bụrụ na anyị na-enwe communication ntu o kwesịrị isi wee dị, I don't think na a ga-deceive all these our gullible brothers and sisters. So ekene ngụ n'ụzọ pụrụ iche wee welekwa opportunity anụnwa na-ayọkwa ka ịgwakwa others your colleagues, gwakwa ha na ha nọ n'ọnụ ha bịakwute anyị na anyị wakwo anyị watile ebe ụnụ nọ ma anyị votu lugo ma anyị votu, but once anyị bụ ndị Anambra anyị waka ụnụ na serve. So unu nọ na bịakwute anyị ha na-agwa unu ife anyị chọrọ, unu agwakwana anyị nke unu na-eme anya amarọ, because if unu na-eme anya amarọ dị too much. So ekene ngụ n'ụzọ pụrụ iche kenekwanụ my senior Nze Uche Kafo Mefor, kenekwanụ Obidi Maazị Beauty with Branch, ekenere nge, kenekwanụ Michael, kene onye ọbụla n'ebe anụnwa n'ofu n'ofu. Nze Obidi Obienu asị m ka Chineke bi n'eluigwe gozie unu ncha niile for ịpụta nọgido na sọpọt ife a na-eme n'ọkwụ n'otu ụbọchị. I will be the rejected stone, we may become the pillar of the house, because ọkwọnụ Saul mechatọn to Paul. So eziokwu na nso wee bido this nonsense na-aga kịta anụnwa, but amarọ m na ọ ga-atọn into nonsense. Abalị m ya with all my heart. Cheno ka njezọpụta ndị be, before you know it, criminal elements but hijack everything bido gbuwe chi ha na nka. But I said never again. In Anambra State, if you see something, say something, and something, and the government